謝稀如. Today I'm so excited to be able to talk with my spiritual teacher, Byron Katie. She is the most important teacher in my life, so I'm really so honored to have Katie here with me today. Katie is the founder of the work. 中文係覺醒功課，中文是覺醒功課. She found the work during her awakening experience. She can introduce that a little bit later. And I've experienced the work myself, and I've got some epiphany with the work as well. And we can talk about it later. So Katie, maybe you can introduce the work and tell us how you found it.
Well, the work is a way to identify the thoughts that cause all of our suffering. There's a cause for suffering. And the cause for suffering is what we're thinking and believing in any given moment. So one day, as I lay sleeping on the floor, because I was so full of self-loathing and confusion, I didn't believe I even deserved a bed to sleep in. So on this particular morning, I was on the floor and I was fast asleep, just no world, just fast asleep, and a cockroach crawled over my foot. And it woke me up with a start. It just woke me up. And before the ego could fill in the space, I saw the cause of all suffering.
Wow.
And the important thing about that experience is what I saw. I saw that when I believed my thoughts, I suffered. And when I did not believe them, I didn't suffer. And I've come to see this is true for every human being. And that's what makes it so important. It's a way of contacting inside of us what is beautiful, our true nature. So it's anyone with an open mind can do it. And so that's my invitation. And I really get that you're the same. It's your invitation as well.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. And you may briefly introduce how to use the work, the 4 questions, and the turns around. Yeah.
So was that a question?
Yeah. So you can briefly introduce the 4 questions.
Okay. So the first question is it true? Is what I'm believing true? And let's say it's something I'm believing about him or her or them, the world. I become aware of what I'm believing. And let's say anxiety. If you're experiencing anxiety or depression, you can look to your mind and experience and see what you are thinking and believing. And then the first question, let's say I had the thought, he hurt my feelings. And I write that down so that thought is on paper.
Yeah.
Of course, as you know, we prefer the judge your neighbor worksheet. But we can get to do that later. But let's say I'm doing the work on this one belief. He hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
So the first question is, and this is a meditative process, I get still. I just close my eyes. And it's as though we're sitting in a meditative state. And I ask myself in silence, is it true? He hurt my feelings. Is it true? And now I'm imagining that situation. I see it in my mind's eye when he said what he said and did what he did. I can see that past. So I can see it clearly. And I'm safe now. I don't have to impress anyone by holding back my feelings or anything. So meditating in, all alone, safe to experience everything, anything. He hurt my feelings. Is it true? So I'm asking myself, and I'm looking at him. I see his face. I'm hearing his words. It's all vivid to me now. So the answer is one syllable. It's either yes or no. And that takes a lot of courage because the ego wants to be right. And I was so sure he hurt my feelings. So I'm meditating in that. Is it true he hurt my feelings? And Michelle, I'm still at a yes. Okay. So now there are 4 questions. Now I'm going to move to number 2. He hurt my feelings. Is it really true that he hurt my feelings?
Yeah, I found we will just justify ourselves here. To say because and
the ego can jump in and give all the reasons why it's true.
Yeah.
So I need to get still and not listen to that. I need to be shown.
And even I say no, and then I will say but.
Yes.
So that's very important to say because just one syllable.
Yes, so true. So expect the ego, just as Michelle's pointed out, expect the ego to interfere in this process. Just thank it for sharing, come back to stillness. Is it really true that he hurt my feelings? Can I absolutely know that it's true he hurt my feelings? So now what I'm seeing is in the stillness that it's what I'm believing about him that is hurting my feelings. So now I'm going to really get still in that. He said there was something wrong with me. And I immediately mentally attacked him in that situation. So that's how I found what I was thinking and believing about him hurt my feelings. So now my answer has moved from yes to no. And I'm only looking for the authentic to show me.
Yeah.
And it could remain a yes, but with what I saw, it gave me a no. So now I'm moving to the 3rd question. And again, there are only 4 questions. Moving to the 3rd. In that situation with him, how did I react when I believed the thought, he hurt my feelings? Now I'm witnessing that.
Yeah, I see it with you as well.
Yeah. What do you see?
Sadness and anger. I experience sadness and anger. You know, Katie, can I share something with you? That's the epiphany, because I just broke up with my boyfriend last month. And then I was so devastated at first. But I sat down and did the work. For like after 3 hours, I found peace.
Yeah.
That's the untouchable.
Yeah.
And that's exactly some thoughts there.
It can take years to get over something like that. We can take it to our deathbed. He was the one for me. But this work, it eliminates all the suffering in our world once we understand how to get that still and sit in these 4 questions and turn around.
Yeah, because after I did the work, that's the epiphany that I had experienced. I found that his love is always there. Love is the only real thing.
What a healing that is.
Yeah, if he stayed, that's love. But even if he left, it was also love. Because if he loved me, it would be best for him. He must think that it would be best for me to leave me. And if he didn't love me already, and it would be best for him to leave as well. Yeah. So it's a way for him to show the love that he had with me. Yeah. And even if he loved someone else, and it's also a way for him to show love to me, to leave me. Yeah. So I found love is everywhere. And then I also questioned, he doesn't love me. Yeah. And I found he loves me is also true. Very true. So when I found love is everywhere, then I found peace. Yeah, the really untouchable that you mentioned. Yeah.
And in that, you never lose him. Anytime you think of him, it's a warm feeling rather than a sadness.
So it's interesting that you mentioned this example.
Yeah. No mistake, huh? No mistake.
Yeah, no mistake. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I experienced sadness and anger, and then you can go on for the fourth question.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm getting an image of how do I react in that situation? Now I'm going to witness me. How do I react when I believe the thought he hurt my feelings? And what I see, Michelle, is a facade takes over. Like I'm not looking hurt. I'm looking more, I have a more defensive kind of attitude, or I am above it kind of attitude. I'm to describe it, it's how do I react when I believe the thought he hurt my feelings? I act like it doesn't hurt. And I kind of laugh like it's some kind of joke. And I continue to witness that, and I see, and inside I'm feeling all those emotions, those hurt emotions that I'm hiding, and my body and face aren't showing that. So I'm witnessing false identity, pure ego. And if that's not right, not wrong, it's just that I'm waking up to how phony I can be in that situation, how phony I can be with people who hurt my feelings. And then as I sit in that, I don't move away so quickly in this meditative state. I begin to see how often in my life that has shown up. How I am maybe with my children, my partner, the people in my life. And I just allow what meets that question to show me. And as you know, it shifts that hidden. Today, if I feel sadness, I don't hide that. I can be on a stage with 1,000 or more people. I'm not going to hide it. This is who I am, the authentic. Authentic.
Yeah.
It is a great gift to give. And then I imagine everyone in the auditorium leaving, and that's okay too, because I stand with the authentic. And it's so powerful, as you and I know, just to sit in this work. It shifts our lives.
You know, you said once you don't suffer anymore now. So it's just, to me, it's just so amazing.
It is. And I've got more than 30, as the founder, I've got more than 30 years of sitting in this work. And as you, Michelle, know yourself, every time you work with someone, it's really your work, just as you have shared with us, that was current for you could say. And no mistake, no new stressful thoughts in the world, they're all recycled. So working with people, every time we work with someone, they enlighten us. That's
exactly. That's what I found. So I feel privileged to work with people.
Yes, they are enlightening us.
Exactly.
Whereas a teacher would say, I'm the teacher. In the work, it's the other way around. We're always working with the one that has come to wake us up to reality.
Right.
And then
that's so humbling.
Oh, it is, and completely so.
Yeah, and I always say it's just a role for me to be a teacher in this world. But I'm always a student.
Always the student.
Yeah.
Always the student.
Yeah,
And we
learning.
are the teachers. We teach with every word we speak, whether we're sitting with a client or not, as we move, as we live our life in the world.
Yeah, because we're teaching our beliefs.
Yeah, there are none of us that aren't teachers. We teach by the way that we live.
Yeah.
And to be an authentic human being is to be at home in oneself. And there's something about authenticity that attracts, because it's a very safe place. And I think maybe that is the thing. But to know everyone that walks this earth by heart is quite a privilege that we share. So that fourth and last question is, in that situation with him, and here's the question, who would I be without the thought he hurt my feelings? So now I get to experience that in this meditative space as I sit alone, meditating in that question. Who am I in that situation without the thought he hurt my feelings? And now I can see in my mind's eye, he's uncomfortable. Now I can see, it's almost as though I'm seeing he wishes he hadn't said it. I can see how uncomfortable he is.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see it before. It's showing up now that I'm in this safe place where I can really alone witness that situation.
Yeah.
Now I notice he tried to compensate. He didn't say I'm sorry, but I'm watching his body language and what he did say and trying to compensate like it didn't happen, hiding it over. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see his fear.
Yeah.
So yeah, the compassion just grow from there.
It's like I see a man that said what he said and did what he did that is really sorry for it. And trying to laugh it off and very uncomfortable. Yeah. Oh, and so I give that time, I sit in it and fall in love. Just that is not my enemy. That's my friend. And if I never see him or talk to him again, he lives in me. That's my friend.
Yeah.
So, and then the next time, Michelle, I run into someone that appears to be hurtful.
I love the sixth question. The turnaround, the sixth question. I look forward.
Yeah. So let's go there. Okay. So he hurt my feelings, turned around. I hurt his feelings.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the ego is going to want to say, no, he did, but just get still, try it on. Turnarounds are something we just try them on like a pair of shoes. We really love them, but we don't want to wear them if they don't fit. So let's try it on. I hurt his feelings in that situation. I hurt his feelings. Really make it still and look. I hurt his feelings. So maybe I can find it because I'm going to look closely because I may owe amends here.
Sometimes it's very subtle.
Yeah.
And Katie, I found when I do the turns around, because sometimes you said it's like trying a pair of shoes. Some are not fit. But for me,
I'm not going to make them fit. I'm just going to meditate in that turnaround.
And when I did that, I found every turnaround is true.
And if we get still enough, like I hurt his feelings, I can't know how he sees me or perceives me. So I'm just looking, from my end.
Yeah.
I hurt his feelings. I hurt his feelings. So now maybe that shoe fits, maybe it doesn't, but I'm going to, like you, I'm going to be very thorough. I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah. And to be honest to myself.
Yeah, to be honest, that's the number one, and it does take courage. So that would mean if I see where I hurt his feelings, the way I looked at him, that one little thing, or I'm just going to look at me, find that one little thing, if it's there, and maybe there are two or three. If I see where I hurt his feelings, that's not something I want to live my life with. So I need to go back. I need to admit it, apologize, and make it right where I can. Now, if it's someone I'll never see again in my life, he lives in another city or something, I'm going to give that to the next human being that I perceive. I have said something on, I've said something or done something, and I notice it right away because I did my work earlier. And I can admit it, apologize, and make it right where I can.
Katie, I found that is a formula to me. It's not just say sorry to that person, but to admit it and to apologize and make it right. This is very important component.
Oh, it's so
make it right.
To admit specifically what I did that was wrong, because that goes against my heart. So to admit it is like, it's not about does the other person forgive me? It's about me making this right with myself, whether they accept it or not.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if they'll never speak to me again, the offense was so great, then I can live that out with every human being anytime I'm authentically wanting not to hurt people in my life because it hurts me. It's always a selfish thing. It's for me to be kind benefits everyone. For me to be unkind, I've got to clean up or it's going to live in me as well. So he hurt my feelings. Let's see, is there another turnaround? I hurt my feelings. So now I'm going to get still in that, meditate in that situation. Be there now. I hurt my feelings. Yeah, I hurt my feelings. Yeah, I hurt my feelings when I said what I said and did what I did.
And believe what I believed.
And to believe what I believed. Yes, I meditate in that. And now, is there another turnaround? He hurt my feelings. He helped my feelings.
Oh, right. That's a very good turnaround.
Yeah, it surprised me too.
Yeah, it surprised me.
It took me to my next worksheet. It took me to this. It took me to this state where I can meditate in these 4 questions. He hurt my feelings, and make it right with myself, right with him, and live my life emptier of what really is poisonous in me. I cannot harm another human being without it affecting my life. Even if only perceived, like someone says, that's not how I saw it. You don't have to apologize to me. That's fine. But, for me, this is all about me and cleaning up my life so that I can be an authentic human being.
And you mentioned to empty ourselves. What do you mean by that? Is that our life is to empty out our beliefs?
Everything I have said and done in my life that was unkind, because that is unnatural. When we're unkind, stress lets it snow. And if we don't do the work with it, then we remember when when it happened and we feel guilty. And then if we don't take care of it, we remember it again. So now it's times 2. And then we remember it again and we try to forget it. Well, he said what he said, so we justify it. Well, now it's times 3. We remember it again and it lives in us. Now, when we work it, and we have just done, we still remember it, but we're empty. We remember it as we have emptied ourselves of guilt. We have made it right. The guilt is gone. So then I think of it again, and it's this blessing, as you were so clear about the way you love this man and are so close to him, and could be you never have to see him again in your entire life, but he's in you. You think of him and it's warm and lovely.
Yeah.
Without the work, we think of them and we're brokenhearted and we'll never get over it. We go from just very minimal to dramatic, whatever the story we're remembering, whatever that is and how it affects us. So
I love what you said.
If we don't take care of it, it will run our lives. And as you know, I spent years as an agoraphobic, just terrified of even leaving my bedroom or home. It was horrible, and the depression was horrendous. But this has allowed me to live fearlessly in the world, and in the absence of suffering. And like you, Michelle, the understanding that no matter what the suffering is, we've got cure. And the cure lives inside of us, just waiting to be tapped into.
Yeah.
As a result of these questions.
Yeah. I like what you said, that everyone is just what we believe them to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're a one, so we are who we believe us to be as well. And as we question what we're believing about other people, we shift.
Yeah.
Our identity shifts. We go from asleep,
and also a kind of empty our identities.
Yes,
in the world, different roles in the world.
We certainly do. We move from asleep to awake, from fearful to fearless.
So I love the work so much because there's a tool to like the how to put all the spiritual teachings into practice.
It is the how. It's yeah. I'm it's so funny. Here's the thought. I won't shut it down. I'm so grateful you're in the world and that you're sharing this with people.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to have you in my life, I attended Nobody Intensive.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's quite an event.
Yeah. And I remember you said, even if we videotaped this conversation, it doesn't prove that it's happening. Can you explain that more?
Well, the event is nothing more than in our minds now. And we can ask everyone at the event, did it happen? And they can all say yes. Now I can believe I had the event, and then everyone says yes, and then I can believe them. But I want to know more. That event existed. Well, it does in me, and you live in me. What do I mean by that? You are who I believe you to be. When I think of you, that is the Michelle, that is my Michelle. And the way you see you, that is your Michelle. And so
different versions.
Yes, yes. So it's so there's no one that doesn't live in us, and there's nothing that does not live in us. There is no world that doesn't live in us.
Mm-hmm.
And we are infinite. And to appreciate the infinite, this unlimited world, which is another way of a term for infinite, we believe our thoughts and we get stuck in this world.
Yeah.
As we question them, we're back in the infinite and into its nature, which is just pure love.
Mm-hmm.
So we're also privileged in this work to meet the infinite. And it's nothing that could be said or told. It's an awareness. And it's the only thing that would stop it would be to believe something like, I am Byron Katie talking to you. You see all the identities that are, the identity is being established. Now, we can talk like that, having some work in us. We can talk like that, but we don't attach, we don't believe. So the infinite is unbroken.
Wow.
We just lose life as a believer and understand our true nature. And I name that, I'll name it sometimes the immovable love, immovable, unchangeable. It doesn't matter what we as humans appear to be. That's not ever going to move. And that's in each of us, all of us, that immovable.
Yeah, begin to understand.
Yeah.
And immovable.
Yeah.
After questioning all my thoughts, and then even sometimes I still have those thoughts coming out, but I found there is a peace underneath always. I think that's the immovable that you mentioned. I wouldn't say I always in touch with that, but yeah, I feel it's there.
It shows up if I think, say, or do anything that is less than kind. And then it appears to move, but we feel it like stress. And that's how we know we're out of where there's something.
Out of alignment.
There's a little something to work there. Yeah. So this is Earth School.
Yeah. So that's also something that I learned, that I have to be honest with myself every time when I have a stressful thought. It's all about me believing something to be true that make me suffer. Yeah. It's not about the thing happened. It's just about how I believe it to be. And I have to be honest. And as you said, it takes courage.
It goes against that immovable. We could call it the heart. If anything we think or believe that goes against that, that's what we need to identify and work. And then come back to that immovable, that our true nature, and flow in that infinite that will and it's like, a symbol might be just being in the infinite, being infinite, and then all of a sudden this planet comes in and he hurt my feelings, and then, now we're back in what we call the world, and we work that, and just these little satellites that come in and
So what do you think the memories, how memories serve us in this world?
Oh, I just see it as goodness, like the infinite offering up unfinished business.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's the first time I heard
just
this.
Done till it's done.
Oh.
We have to match that nature.
Wow. So it's all gifts from the universe.
Yeah.
Even memories is for us to be awakened in this world. Can I say that?
Yeah, there's nothing other than memories, and we can't touch them or take them out.
So the whole world is made up of memories.
The ego attempting to establish itself as something, and that is so small. That it seems like huge. He hurt my feelings. Let me tell you about him, and on and on and on. You know, it's like, oh boy, we've got some life running here. You know, it's all a dream. It's in the past. So I'm not guessing it's all a dream. It's, you and I are aware it's a past, and there is nothing or no one, nothing ever, ever, ever that is not either remembered or anticipated. So what is sandwich between memory and anticipation? Those two are not, they're not real. The past, the future, those aren't objects we're holding other than in our minds. So what is in the center? That's what we discover in the work.
So it's a little gap in between.
The nature of not now.
Yeah, I remember you said even pain is just a remembering or anticipating. And there's a little gap in between that we can find peace or no suffering.
Yeah, the past and future are an illusion, meaning they're you know, I see an image of him hurting my feelings, and I see an image of someone else is going to do it too. He'll do it again if we hang out.
You know, a lot of human beings thought it was so real. How do you explain it to them?
Well, ask it again. I'm not sure.
A lot of people think the future or the past. The past is so real.
Well,
how would you explain it to them?
We can just look to ourselves to see what a trance that is. You know, I had 40-something years of believing. So it's so easy to see everyone is innocent now. What are they guilty of? They're believing. So that makes them 100% innocent. Anyone that would harm another human being is a dreamer. They're a believer, and we can't stop ourselves from believing in the moment we're believing it. And so everyone's guilty. It doesn't matter how horrendous the act may be. If I believed what he or she believed, how could I not be the same? So this work is really preventive medicine if we want a good life.
Yeah. I think if we can get into that place, we would really find everyone is innocent. No one is guilty of what he or she is doing.
And I don't know, you know, it's like, I don't call it the work for nothing. It takes stillness. It takes an open mind.
And courage.
And courage. Oh, boy, it means all my enemies. Oh, my gosh. You know, oh, my goodness. How do we forgive someone that we believed harmed us?
What is forgiveness to you?
How do we forget? We do the work, and that it gives us forgiveness. We come out as the forgiven, and we do, you know, we admit our wrong, we apologize, we make it right, we start over. This is Earth School.
Wow. So you said it's Earth School. So what do you think the meaning of life? What's the meaning of life to you?
To wake up to reality.
And what that means to you?
The infinite mind, pure love. It's timeless. It's lovely. It's really beyond definition. That would be disrespectful to even attempt to define it. No name.
I got what you mean. And sometimes I found a lot of people are suffering right now in this world.
Yes, there are.
And they don't feel, I mean, if I tell them, is to wake up to reality, And it's hard for them to grasp that idea or that concept.
Well,
What would you explain it to them?
I wouldn't even try.
Mm.
I wouldn't even try. In those times, I just listen to their pain.
Oh. Mm.
And I don't interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very safe place. I don't try to teach or make nice. I think the greatest gift I've been given is the ability to listen fearlessly. And there's a connection there that's unbreakable. And at some point, they'll say the least little thing or do the least little thing as they're in that suffering. It could be, you can just hand them a tissue. That's it. Maybe you just notice they're looking for a way to dry their tears or a drink. They're listening like that. It's so clear how to serve them. Number one is listening.
Yeah.
And I don't know a more powerful medicine.
Yeah, just be there.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of courage to be with someone that's in pain. If you're not, I'll just say it. If it would be very difficult for me to even pretend to try to listen before the work, because it would be, let me, what can I do? How can it's all about me, not wanting to experience is in front of me because I don't know how.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Because I'm also a therapist. And now when I sit with someone who got immense suffering, I could just be there. And I know they have their stories. And to me, their stories are not true. But I of course, I wouldn't say that. But I just said
stories are true for them.
Yeah.
So that is that deserves a lot of respect.
Yeah, and that's a space that we created by just sitting there, and then they can have space to heal themselves.
And
so
also,
it's not we heal them, but just they heal
also
themselves.
Give you opportunity to hear their worksheet.
Yeah, and also a way to enlighten myself.
Yes, yeah. Because they're always singing your song. That's how it is. There's no one that's, no matter what their pain or laughter, we all relate to it.
Yeah, all recycled thoughts.
All recycled.
Yeah, and some people like me found the work very, very useful and practical. But some people just find it not so useful for them. And I realized when people found it's not really working for them just because they were not doing it honestly or they just doing it by the mind, but not sinking into their hearts. What would be your suggestion to people that cannot really sink that into their hearts, cannot be still and meditate?
Just to, for me, it was just to continue to do my own work until I was shown. So I just, there's no method for me other than listening. And if I really listen, then what I say or do will meet where they are. And that's where the magic is, not to be ahead of them or think I know what they need. There's a flow going on that is that shows us the way. It shows me the way to be. And it's oh my goodness, it could be just stepping into an elevator at a hotel with people there, and there's some kind of service that shows up, And when you're free, you can just supply it. And it's maybe no one even notices, but it's a living kindness that doesn't interrupt. It doesn't say, look at me. It's just living as a secret, not on purpose. It's just serving. And I think that's the blessing of this state of mind, is to live as how can I help? Just the identity that you wouldn't even notice in your own self, but just to live as a how can I help? And it shows up. I don't have to look for it. It finds me. I don't find it. So that's the one. That's the one.
Just to serve the world. And I'm wondering, how's your life is like? Because you're so enlightened. How your life is like? What do you do daily?
Oh my gosh! Well, this morning, I love waking up in the mornings and before light. And
do you still experience emotions every day?
Pardon?
Do you still experience emotions every day?
Yes, yeah. I think I do. I experience like laughter and I'm fulfilled. But I wake up, and before the ego can I am awake. It's like I just throw on my tennis shoes and grab my coat and my little hat and step out the door to do my morning walk, and it's still dark out, and the sky in the mornings before dawn, it's just incredible. And it's like there's no one else in the entire world, and it really is like the sky is infinite and in front of me is infinite. It's just
is it when you're not identified with your identity?
Well, life shows me. I don't have to invest in it. It shows me. The darkness shows me. The sky. And then the sun starts to come up, but it's still not. It's still dark. And then it's and then come home, and there's tea, and there's I just follow the simple directions internally. I shower, I dress,
how those thoughts come up for you?
They're in the moment, so they're incredibly entertaining. They're not preempted. So I get to witness. And if we think of the body, you did the no body, the body without identification, it's like it thinks it's going to walk now. It's walking now. It's home now. It thinks it's showering. It thinks it thinks it wants to brush its teeth. There's just nothing personal about it. It's like I am not this object we refer to as body.
So I'm not the doer.
Not the doer.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So would stressful thoughts still come up? Because for me, stressful thoughts would come up, and then I did the work and it would go away faster. But I'm not sure for you, is that stressful thoughts already not coming up for you?
They recur in me in the beginning. They would recur and still do, apparently, but living in the present, there is nothing but that. but speak in earth time, let's say, they're on one hand not possible. No one has ever had a thought or ever will. And on another hand, you know, it's like I'm slowing down to meet the question, even though it can look like I'm talking like this.
I got what you mean.
A timeless state because there's nothing personal responding.
So it's very quick. The question was inside of you already, so it was super quick for you.
Questions are alive eventually. They're alive, and they're wordless, thoughtless. They're just there. It is wisdom with nothing powerful enough to break it. That's why we call it wisdom. There's nothing you can do with it. Wise is wise. Authentic is authentic. There's no opposite to it. And that's the description of awareness. And in duality, there's always, you know, a this and that, but that doesn't make it so.
That's so powerful. And so we're coming towards the end of our interview, and I just want to know what would you say to our audience?
That there is a way out of suffering, and so and for me it is to meditate in these questions and there's a way out of suffering, and it doesn't take a teacher. The way out of suffering is within you, and to tap into that with these questions and turnarounds is a beautiful thing.
I love the way you said to put it under the fourth noble truth, to tell how the work fit in that.
Yeah, there's suffering in the world, the four noble truths. There's suffering in the world. We can all attest to that. And there's a cause for this suffering. And the cause for this suffering is what we're thinking and believing about. And it helps know about you, about me, about the world, people. So what we're thinking and believing. And then the third noble truth is there is a way out of this suffering.
Yeah, the cessation of suffering.
And the work is the how. That is the way out. And the answers are within you. It's nothing anyone can teach you. It's within you already. And then the rest of the world is here to test you. I see I'm the only unenlightened human being on this planet, and everyone and everything are here to wake me up. So I love that everyone enjoy entertaining that idea to test it. And then the fourth noble truth is here's how. And so they
there's the path.
Here's how is Buddhism. And that's where the four noble truths came out of. My husband Stephen has been a practitioner of Zen Buddhism for years. Learned the four noble truths, and they're the work. They are these four questions and turnarounds. So without being a Buddhist, that's what was shown to me 33 years ago on that floor. Here's how. And so we have this way and Buddhism, and we have the most wonderful ways in this world of finding peace, and they're all valuable. And as it turned out, the way to peace for me was pain. Great teacher. Heartache, pain, discontent, depression.
Yeah.
We all have had, we all understand suffering. We know it hurts. And there is a way out of suffering. I think that that's the most valuable thing that the two of us could give today is there is a way out of suffering.
Right, right. Though sometimes we don't want to admit that we're in pain, or that's I'm responsible for that. I am responsible. It takes courage to admit that.
It does. And because you're coming up against an ego is so powerful, it would lead you to believe that there is a world.
And then after we admit that, we really find there's a way out, because we are creating our world and everything is just what we believe them to be. So there's a way, because they are in me.
Yeah. This walking identity, this I am in pain. You know, there is a way to break through that and understand your true nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we blessed to have found this path?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Katie, for today, for your time today. And everyone, you can find Katie's work on thework.com or her YouTube channel, and or at homewithbyronkatie.com. And if you speak Cantonese, you can also check out my YouTube channel. And there's a lot of free videos over there. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.